What's up, my fellow household appliances? It might not come to any surprise, but I like fun, portable gear. You know what I'm saying? It can come in any shape, size, or price, and as long as it looks cool and seems like it does cool stuff, I might buy it. And in front of me, I have two very hyped, very similar, yet very different chord-based synthesizers. They're both fairly small and they both have a lot of the same capabilities, but today we're just gonna do a quick comparison to see which one might be best for you. Quick background before we get into it. The Orchid by Telepathic Instruments is actually by a small team of people. One of them includes Kevin Parker from Tame Impala, who had a huge hand in like creating these sounds, and that's why a lot of the sounds are just incredibly juiced up, you know what I'm saying? They started with limited batched releases that were like selling out super quick, so there was a lot of hype surrounding it because people couldn't get their hands on it, but they just recently, I think, did like a worldwide launch, like an official one. This one is more on the professional, they might have had like some good funding beforehand type of vibe, whereas the HiChord, on the other hand, I don't even know the name of the creator of it, but it seems like it's just one dude. This is actually like a Kickstarter campaign. It's super limited and portable. And in my opinion, I feel like it's more catered to just like fun experimentation and stuff like that. All right, now let's talk about the build. Now, obviously the Orchid is a lot bigger. It has like 12 keys. It's more of like a natural key feel. It has two built-in speakers here that sound pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. The HiChord, on the other hand, it's made out of aluminum, it's pretty tough. It also has a built-in speaker. So I'd say they're both pretty well built. This isn't really like a normal key layout at all. So it's a much more like, I don't know, this feels more like Game Boy vibes, whereas this feels more like still gaming. Like this is maybe like a Nintendo 64 or something, where this is like more of like a handheld situation. One note on the build quality for both of these: if you saw my last video, the first like 3 keys on here weren't working when it shipped to me, but Telepathic Instruments sent me a quick fix. They told me in the email not to share it, but a lot of people were asking me in the comments like, why didn't you share? Basically, bro, they had me just push it down and kind of wiggle it left and right. Okay, I don't know why that's the case. I also feel like the reason why they didn't want me to share it publicly is because they don't want to be liable or want me to be liable if, I don't know, that doesn't work and maybe someone messes their stuff up even more than it was. I don't know. But it was a quick fix. Everything is working just fine now. So it wasn't a huge deal in my opinion. As for the HiChord, the first one they sent me, it was working just fine, but when I shook it, like there was just like a little plastic thing inside that was broken, that was kind of rattling. And I reached out and they just sent me a replacement right away. So, you know, and now they have done more batches and more releases, and I think they only dropped the aluminum one now. So I feel like the build quality on that end has improved, as well as this. I mean, they've done 2 drops and now they're doing their main drop. So I'm just going to assume that they've tackled the build quality issues there too. But you guys let me know in the comments if you got one right now and it's buggy at all. Now on to more similarities with the features. They both have MIDI out. They both have, you know, 3.5mm jacks and rechargeable batteries via USB-C. The Orchid has a 16-voice synth with 3 engines, and the HiChord has a 12 oscillator digital synths plus FM and samples and all that kind of stuff. And they both have effects like strumming and arpeggiator and just different stuff like that. Now the Orchid definitely has a lot more sounds that just sound great out of the box. They also just announced a VST where you can, I guess, adjust some of the sounds or edit sounds and like get them onto the Orchid or something like that. I haven't really looked too deep into it. I will say I'm a little disappointed that I have to like pay for it after paying so much for this, but I think it's $50 right now for the beta, and then it's going to be like $130 or something like that when it comes out fully, which is understandable for people just buying the plugin. If people are just buying a cool synth plugin, totally understand the price. But if you already have it, if you spent all this money on it, and it is a companion type of situation, should be free is all I'm saying. Okay, and then as for the HiChord, the sounds are a lot more limited. You just kind of have basic stuff, like this is a basic sine. And then you have like the saw, which sounds great. And then you have, let's see, triangle, square, saw square. That one's pretty cool. Strings. Whirly. I don't know what that one is. For me personally, I actually made a whole album using the HiChord a lot, like, and I got some songs that sound like this. Kind of bangs, like In Motion, out now. Go check it out. What I found with the sounds with the HiChord is they are limited, but if you know anything about sound design, once you record it into like Ableton or something, start putting effects and stuff like that, or if you have some pedals or something, you can really stretch those sounds since they are so like basic. With the Orchid, for example, though, a lot of them have like built-in effects on the presets. Like it'll have reverb, chorus, delay, and an arpeggiator on the preset, which is sick if you're just like want to make dope stuff out of the box and not have to change anything. But if you are going to be doing a lot of layering, I do find myself taking off all the effects. Still a lot more sounds and better presets and stuff on the Orchid, but that doesn't mean you can't make some fire and different sounding stuff on the HiChord. Now let's talk about playability. So pretty much the Orchid works, you have the keys here and you have the chord buttons here, and pretty much you can go in regular mode where these are just the notes, and then you can do major, or you can do major seventh by holding both of those. Which is sick. I like that. It's definitely more of a professional vibe, especially if you know music theory, you can like kind of go crazy with it. Or if you're like me, you just turn on this key mode and now you're playing chords. And then if you want to extend those to nines or sevens, you just... which is dope, you know? Now, the HiChord is a totally different vibe. This is more of like a, you hold it in your hand, and I'm not gonna lie, it's different. Like, it's different in a fun way. You're not really going based off music theory, you're going off of just what sounds good, whereas with the Orchid, I feel like you can really go based off music theory and make some stuff that you know is gonna sound good. But this one, you go... like, just spinning it around, you know? Now, as far as like the ecosystem and the future potential, like I said, Orchid just announced a VST, so that's cool. And in the future, it might be bigger and better, and maybe you can access your sounds better, start coming up with your own presets to load on. Maybe at some point you'll be able to download presets from the internet to add on to this. That all sounds pretty sick if I'm being honest. The HiChord has like a visualizer web app where you can like see the chords and stuff like that. And I've also seen the developer like preview on his Instagram, like making a little game with it and stuff like that. So I'm sure this can come up with more and more capabilities. Originally, like, it didn't have drums, now it has drums as well. Same thing with this, it didn't have drums, now it has drums. They both can just plug right into your computer for firmware updates. So that pretty much just tells me that like these will both get better over time as long as the developers continue with it. Let me show you some of the effects as well so that you know what the HiChord specifically is capable of. It's very easy with the Orchid because a lot of the sounds already have these effects on, but the HiChord, it does have a lot of cool effects. So for example, right now it has reverb, but we can add a chorus. You can add this glide feature. Which is cool. You can add bass, but also you can add bass on the Orchid, which is dope. So that's dope. You can have a bass note follow you around. You can do the same thing on here though. Bass off. Super sick. Makes it sound so much more full. What else do you have on here? ADSR, so you can change the sounds up a bit. Swell. Pluck. There's a few things you could change. LFO, flanger, filter, tremolo, voice, stereo. It also has strum. Arpeggiator. Okay, so who should buy what? You should buy the Orchid if you care about having dope sounds right out of the box, primarily work at a studio or desk. It's still fairly portable, but it's gonna be on a desktop or a lap or something. It has to sit on something. Buy the Orchid if you want that Kevin Parker, Tame Impala connection, or if you just prefer a traditional keyboard layout. Last but not least, if the budget allows for $650, let's not forget that. Now, you should buy the HiChord if portability is your priority. I mean, look at this thing. You can genuinely put this in your pocket, take it everywhere. I've taken this on trains, airplanes. Another reason to buy the HiChord is if you're comfortable with external processing, because the biggest selling point about the Orchid is the variety of sounds. And if you know how to get more variety out of these simple synth sounds with your external processing, then that is no longer a limiting feature. And last but not least, if you have a budget that allows for $320. If you just want any of these Chord devices and you just want to be able to try it and use it and have fun with it, then the HiChord is the cheaper option. But if you want something that's like a bit more capable and I'd say like usable in a day-to-day studio environment, it might be worth it to swing for the Orchid. Ultimately, these are both dope. They inspire creativity, they inspire ideas, and I've been having fun with both of them. And I haven't really talked about this much, but I did get my first pedal, and using this with the HiChord, it really shines, I'm not gonna lie. Like and subscribe if you want to see the video on what this little doohickey does. But yeah, let me know in the comments, which one would you pick, the Orchid or the HiChord? I would love to see what you guys are saying in the comments. I have my popcorn ready. That's it. I am a table. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or cannot be. Yep, I'm bringing that back. And thanks for watching. Peace.